Back to IlliniBearsTalk. Today we're going to be talking about the NFL schedule release, specifically with the Bears. I guess the schedule was released like a week ago, but we're kind of slow with things right now. So yeah, let's just get into it and kind of see how we feel about the schedule, and then get into kind of some individual predictions of the games, because the order does matter in my opinion. I think it can reveal a lot about how your NFL season progresses. But um, I'll talk to you, Ellen, first. What were your overall thoughts on the schedule, and how do you kind of feel like it played favorably for the Bears?
Yeah, I think it's definitely good in the first like 7 games or whatever that they play a lot of like pretty shitty teams because
Mhm.
that'll be Caleb's time to kind of get used to stuff, get used to the system, and get acclimated with the league. And also, you'll touch on it later, but with the volatility that the schedule kind of provides, having those good teams later on in the season where they could be injured, I don't know, like a quarterback could be hurt. Like we saw a lot of starting quarterbacks get hurt last year. Like that could be that's kind of what you want. You don't want to get like the Niners week one because they'll probably be fully healthy. Um, and yeah, they'll get a lot of pretty easy games. The Titans will be like decent this year, but they should be a pretty easy game at home to start the year. And then Texans will be tough, but then a good amount of easy games to kind of build confidence and gain momentum going into the rest of the season where you play like 6 divisional games in like 8 weeks.
Yeah, definitely. Sam, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, regarding the schedule, I don't think I'm like too happy about how we have like 6 divisional games like after week 10. I think that's like terrible in my opinion. But I definitely agree with like opening the season against the Titans. That's like a golden game for Caleb to just transition perfectly into the league. Will Levis definitely has some things circulating online right now, but regarding that,
Are you fucking serious?
I think
Bro,
it's amazing. I think we'll win week one. I'll be in attendance for the first game. I don't think we should lose. That team is not good at all. Justin Fields would have beat that team, so I think we should win week one. And then regarding the end of the year, I think it's a little bit. I don't like closing the year against the Packers. Last year we closed the year against the Packers. It's not good. I watched it live. That was Justin Fields' last game as well. Terrible way to end the season. So besides those two things, I think we have a pretty easy schedule. I think it's like what top five in strength schedule or like the easiest schedule or whatever. But yeah,
Yeah, and for me, I actually I like the backloaded schedule, just given that we do have a rookie quarterback and someone who's getting acclimated. Like, I don't expect Caleb Williams to be the same week 1 as he is going week 14 to, a divisional opponent. So, I actually think, like, maybe the NFL thought about that too, and, they said that they don't wanna throw Caleb Williams into the fire right away. Obviously, we do have that primetime game against the Texans, but if you actually look at some of the early opponents, I mean, we're not talking about spectacular defenses like the Titans, the Colts, the Rams are a young unit, but they're not, solidified yet. Panthers, obviously, not a great defense. And Jaguars, like, I mean, there's a lot of units here that I'm not like scared of. Like, some of them could be decent and average level defenses, but none of those like elite defenses come until later in the season, which I really do appreciate. And um, on this topic, like, just looking at the schedule right now, what game gets you the most excited and why?
I think
you want to
Texans weeks two got to be with like right now. Like that's what I'm looking forward to. Sunday night football week two. Last time we played Sunday night football week two, we lost 17-10 to the Packers a couple years ago. So that wasn't a fun game, but this time we got a new quarterback going out there, and him against Stroud. Like I love Stroud. Stroud's so fun and awesome. So that should be a really fun game. And that's like if they're able to win week one, that's like you put yourself on the map right away, like very quickly in the season if you can go into Houston and win that game on prime time.
Yeah, and to piggyback off of what Elon said, I also think Texans game is a really cool game. But to switch it up, I think Week 11 at home against the Packers, I think that's a really interesting game. Like, I have us losing because like we haven't beat them in multiple years, but it will be really interesting to see by 10 weeks in how Caleb's ascension is and just if he has enough to beat the Packers. And of course, beating the Packers at home, like the first time playing the Packers, would be insane. So that's what one game I definitely looking forward to. Right, you, Rami?
Yeah, I kind of a similar route. I would say week 16 against the Lions, and the reason for that, I'm kind of anticipating that game is gonna have huge implications for us, and possibly the Lions too. Like that game could be pivotal in deciding if we are a playoff team. It could be even a division deciding game. And to put it week 16 at home, like I really, really do like that. I really like the fact that we're not playing the Lions, in the first 4 weeks of the season, and rather we're playing them week 16 on our own turf. Caleb Williams should be acclimated by then, and obviously our defense has proven that they can stop the Lions' offense, which almost no other defense in the league could really say they did that. So I'm really, really excited about Week 16 at home.
Regarding the schedule, we have it up here. And if we could scroll up a little bit to week 1, since Rami doesn't like to do it from game to game basis, me and Ilan will go with the games and then we'll resort to Rami's next. So starting with week 1, I have the Chicago Bears being the Titans. I think just a gimme game. Like no
All
reason we
right,
should.
gimme is a little far, but they should win this. They should win this game. The Titans are good.
I think we 100% win this game. That's why I'm attending it. All right, next one. So this one's tough. I think the Texans are a little bit overrated. I still think they're an insane team, but I don't think they're like number 2 team in the league, as people say. But I have the Texans winning this game for sure.
Yeah. I don't know for sure. You're speaking in a lot of absolutes. I think it'll be a good game, but I think the Texans are definitely a very good team, and they're building off like a very impressive season.
Yeah. What do you think happens week 3?
Yeah, I think this game is tough. This is like kind of what I was talking about earlier about like having games early or late, because obviously you don't really want to play Richardson, and having it week 3 like he's probably going to play. And they're also really good. It being at home, I think the Colts probably win, but I think it'll be a good game. Like I just think the Bears' offense will still be kind of figuring things out at this point, and the Colts are a good team, and their offense is going to be really good. And Steichen's going to get A.D. Mitchell now to add to his offense, and hopefully Richardson is healthy for them, and they're going to be really tough to stop. So I think they narrowly sneak out a victory.
Yeah, I mean, we can go with Colts winning this game. I think, in my opinion, that the Bears will easily take this game. I think
wow, that's
I think I mean no, we'll stay with the Colts.
Easily win this game, easily lose that game.
No, I mean I'm just certain because I don't think Anthony Richardson really has shown a lot. I was watching his games he stacked upon, but like his play style is still extremely volatile. Like he could be literally injured by week 3. We have no idea. Like
He could.
I don't think I mean I guess I'll backtrack a little bit. I mean I don't think we'll easily win this game, but I think we will comfortably win this game for sure. But I guess we'll see in the near future.
Mm-hmm.
Next
I'll
week.
chalk it up as a loss for now. I think.
Yeah, no, we'll go with
the Bears loss.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Bears beat the Rams. I think the Rams definitely have talent on defense now, and they're still young and they're getting better. And they traded up for Braden Fisk. Was that who it was? They traded up that like really big package.
Florida State, yeah.
Yeah. Common overpay by the Rams, but I still don't think their defense is all that scary. I mean, and their offense is going to be obviously good. Some holes on the O-line still though, and like, do I think the Bears D-line is better than their O-line? Like, it's probably a push, but I think the Bears corners will be able to at least slow down Puka and Cooper Kupp, and I think the Bears offense will pretty comfortably have a pretty comfortable time against the Rams defense. So I think they win the game.
Yeah, we can. We'll chalk that down as a win. I just think we get upset this game. I just like not even like to spite you. I just think like we get upset at this game. I don't know why. I just feel like coming off the win against the Colts, like with Matthew Stafford with Cooper Kupp. Like I feel like Cooper Kupp will play a lot better than what he did last year. He was injured the whole year. Just Cooper Kupp and Puka will be like unstoppable against our defense, and I just think it'll be a tough game all around. I think we narrowly lose that game.
Well,
But
for
then,
me, the scariest thing about that matchup is Eberflus versus Sean McVay. I think that
yeah.
will probably be the deciding factor. Now the Bears are at home, but like if I had to trust in one coach to win that matchup, I would say Sean McVay. So that's why I would also go with the Rams. But I think, you know, I would chalk it up as a Bears win for now. So
Yeah. Okay. All right. No questions asked. Next one.
yeah, next. All right, week
By
6.
the way, if we lose that game, we should trade back for Fields. Just keeping it honest.
Should
But,
trade back for Fields.
Yeah. All right. Week 6 in London. What do you think, Mr. Ilon?
Yeah, I'm obviously pissed that this is a home game. It's fucking stupid. Like the Jags are like basically like London's team at this point. Like they should be having to take the home game here.
They played there so many times.
Yeah, they played there twice last year, I'm pretty sure, like back-to-back weeks. But whatever, like same venue or whatever type thing, no home field advantage. The Jags are like good, but like kind of good. They're like a weird team. I think Balky continues to try to like just make Trevor Lawrence's life challenging. I think Trevor Lawrence is really good. I know you think Trevor Lawrence is not very good, but I think that offense is going to be not great. And I think this early in the season, I still think Ryan Thomas Jr. will be like a good, not great player. And then they signed Gabe Davis, right? They lost everyone else. I mean, they still have Kirk. I mean, their receivers are solid, but they don't have like a true wide receiver one. I think it's even, and since I'm a Bears fan, I'll just pick the Bears.
Sam, I know where you're going with this.
I mean, I have to. Like, I just don't think Trevor Lawrence is all that. Like, I do agree he's probably a fringe top 10 quarterback, but like, I know like this may come off as the commoner take, like, oh, you just watch like all his receivers drop all of his balls, all that shit. But like, I don't think Trevor Lawrence is that good. Like in the clutch, it's like I would much rather have Caleb over Trevor Lawrence right now. I know Trevor Lawrence is probably going to be the highest paid QB very soon, but I think we comfortably win this game as well. The only way we lose is if Matt Eberflus has a coaching disaster, in my opinion. How about you, Rami?
Yeah, this is kind of a toss-up for me, but yeah, I think I'll also go Bears. I think I trust our defense in this matchup, obviously a lot more than I trust the Jaguars defense. And I mean, hopefully by this point, I think we just have the better roster. So if Caleb Williams can kind of, just get acclimated after 5 weeks and like start to really pick it up, I think this would be the game to do that. So I'll chalk it up as a Bears win. So what about after the bye, going into DC against the Commanders? What do you guys say?
Oh, by the way, fuck the NFL for not giving us a Thursday night game before we go to London. They did that for like every team last year, and then they just like, I mean, I guess it's basically a bye against the Panthers, but like still.
Yeah.
God, I hope so.
But yeah, the Commanders are gonna be just like trash this year. Like I honestly, I could see them comfortably being worse than the Panthers. So I don't think it's like, I mean, like of course any given Sunday, but for predicting it right now, I don't think there's really that good of a chance the Bears lose.
Yeah, well said. I agree.
Yeah, they suck.
All right, week 9.
Sam, what do you think?
I have us losing. I have the Cardinals winning this game.
I was about to say the same
This
thing.
is not. It's not even like this is genuinely just like a terrible terribly coached game by Matthew Eberflus. Like we are just gonna get out coached in this game. I
By
think like
who?
dude,
Who
the
is
Kyler
out-coaching
Murray
us?
Harrison connection is gonna hit different. I'm telling you. Like we're just gonna
Who's
get
even their
shit
play
on.
caller? It's still Drew Petzing. Let me search it up.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think we're gonna come from the Commanders game. Like we're probably gonna like shit on the Commanders, and then we're literally just gonna. I think we will lose the whole game against the Cardinals. Like we'll be losing the whole game. I think we're just gonna
Damn.
get blown out. I have a bad feeling that the Cardinals will beat us. So yeah, I'm
Wow.
going with that. It doesn't seem sensible. It's just more of a feeling.
I mean, I guess. I just like their defense just like is bad. They are starting former Bears legend Bilal Nichols like on their D line. He's probably at this point like 30.
Yeah. They do have a pretty bad.
And they have Justin Jones, right?
And Justin Jones, yeah, Justin.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I mean,
Justin Jones.
they also got that defensive tackle out of Missouri, Robinson, right? What's his? I forgot his name.
Oh,
Got him in the first round.
they drafted Darius Robinson. Oh yeah, at 27.
Yeah. So like, I mean, and Gannon was surprisingly good. Like he's a
Not bad.
goofball. I can't take him seriously, but he's a surprisingly good defensive
They'll need
coach.
Darius
He lets
Robinson
him
to be
see.
good because Justin Jones is horrible. I really hope he plays in that game. He's gonna run the ball the whole game. God, he's so bad.
All right.
But I
We'll
don't know.
talk-
Like, fine, we can say that the Bears will lose, but I don't see it.
Yeah.
Cardinals are not a good team, but they will be fun with Marv, Zay Jones, and Greg Dortch.
I agree.
All right. Hopefully back on track. Week 10 against the Patriots.
Yeah, it'll be another really bad team, and I really like Drake May, like big fan, but they're just like
Comfortable.
Yep.
the roster all around is just like really really bad.
Yeah. Okay.
The big one.
Honestly,
Until we beat
I know
them,
what
I'm
you're gonna
predicting us
predict.
to lose.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's honestly easy for all of us just to predict the loss. I think like we can say we'll win, but like I just don't want to like paint a picture that I just don't want to jinx us. Too. I think we're gonna lose. I'm going with loss.
Yeah.
Really,
Until
no.
we beat them, I'm predicting us to lose every single time.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
agree.
care. Last season too, I thought we were gonna be better than them.
Yeah.
We weren't even close. Like I until we beat them, like it's whatever for me.
They were super underrated though. They had the youngest team in the NFL.
They were
really good.
Jordan Love was a lot better than people thought he would be.
Yeah.
Good for them, and their wide receivers were good, probably in part because Love was so good.
Yeah.
And they still have
I mean,
LaFleur. Like they just
LaFleur,
they
exactly.
they upgraded DC, the guy from BC. I forget his name, but no more good Joe Barry. So they'll be good again.
Yeah,
What's
they got
that guy's name?
DC's head coach
Haley?
as DC. Yeah, Todd Haley, I think.
Todd Haley, something like that.
And I mean, I mentioned this in the Rams game. Eberflus is winless against Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur tears him up every time we play. So I'm not gonna believe that we're gonna stop the pack. Even if our defense up to week 10 is like a solidified top unit in the league, I will still have my concerns about how we will hold up against Jordan Love and the Packers, just because I don't trust Eberflus yet against like these top offensive minds in the league. I don't trust him, so I'm definitely gonna go Packers. Week 11, I'm with you guys on that. So what about week 12 at home against the Vikings?
Yeah, I mean, for the divisional games, I think we go some combination of 2 and 4. I don't know where exactly. Like, I think we probably split with the Lions and Vikings and lose both to the Packers. And like, I guess like safely, I'll just predict that we win both home games in those and then lose both away games. I know what you think, Sam.
Yeah, I have us sweeping the Vikings. I think the Vikings are a terrible team. I think even if they have Darnold or JJ McCarthy starting, like I know U of M Barstool follows me, so I don't really want to standard JJ McCarthy that much. But I'd be very happy if JJ McCarthy's starting week 12. I would not be happy if Sam Darnold is because he's actually not that bad. But I really don't see us losing to the Vikings at home.
Well, if Sam Darnold is starting by week 12, that probably means he's doing a pretty solid job for them. And actually, that would be a bad thing for us. But yeah, I would say Bears at home probably take this.
The Vikings just have such good playmakers. It's hard. Like they're like one of those situations where you go like, oh, we can just throw anybody in there, and like I mean they did last year. Like they didn't win like that many games, but Nick Mullins put up numbers. Josh Dobbs put up numbers. Like realistically, JJ is not going to be worse than either of those two if he plays. I don't know. The Vikings, yeah, like having JJ and Addison and Hawkinson, and then having Darius and Brian O'Neill, and then Kevin O'Connell is like they will be some sort of like solid. Like I don't know if they'll be really good because their defense needs work, but they brought back Flores, so I don't know. Quarterback is their big question, but otherwise their roster is pretty good.
It's fair take.
All right, week 13 against the Lions. Thanksgiving.
The vibes say Bears, but I think the Lions will pull it off. Thanksgiving vibes, like Bears football on Thanksgiving. Come on,
we win in Detroit on Thanksgiving.
We're winning that game, but just
we're winning that game.
We'll predict a loss.
Well, we'll roll with the Lions winning, but we won last Thanksgiving with David Montgomery. Like we own Dan Campbell. He sucks. Like he really does suck. Like
that was a classic. That Andy Dalton legacy game in Detroit.
DeAndre Swift fumbled that game too.
Yeah.
Too bad he's on our team now. But yeah, I mean, I genuinely think we'll win this game. I think I'm going to go to this game too, but I really like. I'll predict the Lions winning it, but I really think we'll win this game. Yeah.
All right. Week 14.
Yeah,
I mean, we can.
We cannot predict the win.
Does anybody want to be bold enough? Is my question. Sam seems like the guy who would want to, but I
already said we're beating the Lions. If I agreed with you guys losing to the Lions, but no, we're losing.
Yeah. All right. This one is actually tough. Week 15, Monday Night Football, Minnesota. I mean, Sam, you're not as high on the Vikings clearly, but I think this could easily be a loss for us. Like just a division opponent. I think the Vikings have a very good roster outside of the holes at quarterback that they have. I'm not that confident that we'll just go into Minnesota in prime time and win.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, I'm a state true so we can put it as a split. I think we'll still win this game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess like if we're trying to do individual games,
we'll just go with majority.
Looking at these two, I think we either lose to Minnesota, but then beat Detroit at home the next week, or that goes in reverse.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I like that. I like that line of thinking.
Yeah, so
we'll go Vikings then Bears. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, nice. This is a fun game. This is a fun one.
Yeah. Week 17, Seattle.
Shane Waldron revenge game.
Shane Waldron revenge game.
Yeah. I got Bears winning this one pretty comfortably, not gonna lie. I think Seahawks are kind of poised to be one of those teams that are actually pretty disappointing.
I agree.
I did not like their offseason, and I think like it could be a scenario where by week 17 they're kind of just beat up and under 500, and this is not really a big game for them, but it could be a big game for us.
I will say I do really like Mike McDonald, and I do really like who did they bring in? Ryan Grubb. But
from Washington.
I think that they have too many deficiencies all over their roster. Like, I mean, they have obviously 3 really good receivers, but their O-line is always suspect. And their defense just all around, especially depth-wise, is just like end of the season when they're going to have those guys probably play. Like, I think Mike McDonald can do a solid job of scheming up things, but they just have too many holes. And every single offseason, like, for the longest time ever, they just, like, don't like filling those holes. Who did they draft? I don't remember.
They took Byron Murphy, I believe.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That's not a bad pick.
Yeah, that's a
solid
pick, but like
not impactful right away.
Have a lot bigger needs.
Yeah. All right, I'll chalk that up as a Bears win, and then week 18. I think again we made it pretty clear until we've proven otherwise. I'm always going to go with the Packers. I don't want to look like a loser who just wants to pick the Bears because I'm a homer. I'll go with the Packers until we can beat them. But you guys seem to agree with that, right?
Yeah.
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 So
All
what
right.
is our
So our final tally. Wow, 9-8. So
Wow.
that seems pretty on par with kind of what Vegas has the Bears as 8.5
But
wins.
juice to the over. So
Yes.
they have around like 8.9 to like
Yeah.
9.0
Around,
wins.
yeah,
So
that's
yeah.
right. Because it's the over slightly favored. So
they,
this
they
seems.
really
Yeah,
think
exactly.
we're gonna win.
What'd you say?
They really think we're gonna hit 9 wins. I think we
Yeah.
will. I mean, we have some stupid upsets in here, but I think it will definitely happen. Like if we review it, like I guess the Cardinals. I'm still sad that the Cardinals will the Bears will lose to the Cardinals. We will.
All right, good
Unfortunately,
for you.
the Bears will lose to the Cardinals away.
We'll see. I mean, this is kind of I'll talk about like my issues with when the schedule comes out and just predicting individual games. I think a lot of people tend to just pick whichever team is like anticipated as a favorite, and that's kind of how they pick every game. But I don't think that's realistic at all because upsets happen all the time, and there are going to be games that we end up winning that we shouldn't, and games where we end up losing. Like I don't know. Looking at one of those Cardinals, Patriots, Panthers, Titans, Seahawks, like games where I think we should win. I don't like going 5-0 in that is actually pretty improbable. So I actually want to kind of get into this and I'll show you what I mean. So for me, the way I like to predict schedules is using tiers and ignore the teams at the bottom. But I kind of categorized every team that we're playing this season into how I perceive we will be heading into the game. So obviously we play the each division opponent twice. So I think at home versus the Lions and Packers will be slight underdogs, and at home versus the Vikings, I think will be a pretty heavy favorite going into that. But uh, first of all, do you guys see any games here that you disagree with? Or yeah, like opponents, I guess, or matchups that you disagree with.
Yeah, I mean, right off the bat, I would move the Colts to slight favorite. I think honestly, I'd move the Colts and Rams to slight favorite, even though I have us losing to the Rams. I think the Colts are pretty overrated still. Like a lot of people are super high on Anthony Richardson, and we've yet to see much. I understand he played very well in his like 6 7 week span, but still not good enough for me. So I don't think the roster is better than the Bears. So that's why I feel like we'd be somewhat of a slight favorite against them. And then the Rams have a really young defense. They had the best defensive player of all time just retire. So I mean Sean McVay is miles better as a coach, but I think those two teams could be in slight favorites.
Yeah, I agree with I think the Rams at home especially. Um, I think the Bears would be a slight favorite in that game. I don't honestly know if Vegas has them at, but I guess that's not what we're doing anyway. But I think the Bears would probably be like a 1 to 1.5 point favorite. I think if it was in LA, then I would probably have them as a slight underdog. But given that it's at home, I think the Bears would be a slight favorite. But otherwise, I don't think there's anything I really disagree with here.
I
Yeah, I
guess
think
Yeah,
Jaguars,
when I was
yeah,
making
I
this
think the
list,
rest.
I was kind of
Jaguars.
anticipating the Vegas line for each of these games. Now, obviously, injuries and everything can change that. But um, I just see, especially with the Rams, like I'm really factoring in that coaching matchup. Like Sean McVay, I think he's one of the best coaches in this league, and I think like I will never ever bet on Eberflus over Sean McVay in a matchup, even but like we do have the better roster and it's at home, so I can definitely see how we would be like a 1 to 1.5 point favorite in that game. But I think that's gonna change as we kind of see how the Bears perform in the first 3 weeks of the season.
Yeah, I mean maybe the Jaguars we could move them to heavy favorites. I just still not sold on that team that much. But aside from that, I mean, I guess like the divisional games we could be slight underdogs. Maybe the Packers could stay in heavy underdog, but like I mean like the Lions, we should have swept the Lions, and our team got miles better over the offseason. Like we went from like we have the best wide receiver core in the league. Like I think there's a high chance we sweep the Lions, but besides, I think everything else looks good. I wish we got to play
Yeah.
like Raiders or something like that. Be nice.
So, well, I guess
Revenge game.
my philosophy on the Bears right now is, you both agree, like if we get, I think a 9-8 record probably gets the Bears into the playoffs. So if I was looking at this schedule, and the way I would look at it is, say, for that heavy favorite category, if the Bears were able to rattle off 4 wins out of 5, because there probably will be an upset in playing one of those 5 games. I think we can rattle off 4 wins there, and then 2 wins as a slight favorite and 2 wins as a slight underdog, and then pull off 1 upset as a heavy underdog. That gets the Bears to 9 wins, and I think that is very realistic. And so that's why I actually do have the Bears as a playoff team. Just by categorizing these teams into these tiers, I think the Bears really, I would honestly bet the over on their 8.5 wins. I really don't see the floor with it, like a low floor with this team. Like I'm very confident just with how the defense performed at the end of the season, and how the season will progress with Caleb getting his hardest opponents at the end of the year. I'm very confident that we can get that over 8.5.
Yeah, I agree for sure. I mean, obviously year to year, like wins aren't really that stable, so I'm not going to use like 7 wins last year as a benchmark, but the team is a lot better than it was last year, particularly the offense, who added basically 2 more wide receiver ones, whatever. You don't have to agree with that. But I think they have 3 wide receiver ones and a quarterback who in this class has both the low or the highest floor and the highest ceiling. Um, so I don't see how they don't win over 8.5 games. I guess we predicted them at 9, so I guess it's possible that they drop a couple of those games, but like floor, I think their floor is probably 8 wins. Like genuinely, like
Yeah,
they're
I
a
agree.
very young and talented team in that defense. I know they played a lot of shitty teams, and like they got their Brian Hoyers and their Nick Mullins and whatever, and their Josh Dobbs, um, and they got to play those guys at the last couple weeks of the season. But that defense is young and it's talented, and guys like Tyreek Stevenson and Jervon Dexter play positions with really steep learning curves. And going into year 2, like they could be like big time game changers. And then obviously on offense, like you're gonna have a solid offensive line, and your weapons are like your top 3 pass catchers are arguably the best in the league. You have a really talented quarterback and a play caller who I guess Seahawks fans don't really like, but that's with every fan base. A well-respected play caller in the league who has led multiple like top 12 EPA seasons for an offense. Reinvented Geno Smith, has had a really horrible O line for many years, and kind of schemed like away from that. Like the Seahawks offense has been like extremely good under Waldron, early down, first and second down, and then kind of struggled third down because they can't block. He won't really have that big of a problem with that in Chicago, and guys will get open. So I think the offense will be really good. I think the defense will be really good. I think a floor of probably 8 wins is maybe probably not that crazy. And then like the only unwinnable game on this entire really on the schedule is probably the 49ers. Like there's no other game that I'm like this is unwinnable. Like last year we had the Chiefs, which was unwinnable, and a couple other games. But this year, like I don't see any other game that I'm like, there's absolutely no way we go in and win that game. But the Niners at on the road is probably one of those.
Agree with that. And just one last thing I wanted to add before we wrap it up is we also like seem to forgot that last year Matt Eberflus basically like blew 3 games where we had basically 99% chance to win. I think with that being corrected, hopefully being corrected, this year, because like technically we should have been like 10-7 last year. Like there's no reason why we should have lost to the Lions Browns honestly, and what was the last 2 years?
Broncos.
Yeah, the Broncos. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
That
That
game
game
was
that game
good.
was special.
yeah,
Oh
that
my
was a tough game.
god.
I couldn't believe that game, but yeah, I mean, I think that will definitely be fixed. So technically, we should have won 10 games last season, and we got the short end of the stick and only had 7 wins. So, assuming Matt Eberflus learned 2 things over the offseason, I think we'd have around like a 9 to 10 game win floor, and I'd put our ceiling at maybe 13, 14 wins. I think like it's very far fetched to get 14 wins, but if and like in a perfect world, I could see us getting 13 wins if we got lucky. Like if we came close in the Niners and got a good call, or there's a PI or something like that, like there's a chance. I also think in the divisional games they really are toss up. It's very easy to predict them as splitting them and stuff like that, but like we literally should have swept the Lions. Should have done that. Only team I'm actually worried of is the Packers, but I'm really not convinced the Lions are a crazy, scary team for the Bears at least. I think they're insane against other teams, but yeah, that's basically my opinion on that.
Realistically, if we weren't just getting our ass kicked by the Packers every year, and you're looking at the rosters, just comparing them objectively, you would say, like, at home, we should be a favorite against the Packers, and on the road,
100%.
we should be a slight underdog. Like, I fully see that. It's just the history tells us otherwise, and I'm not gonna be duped and flipped by other Packers fans on Twitter.
This is
Uh,
our year.
hopefully it's our year, but yeah, I think I totally see the high floor with this Bears team. Like, people are underestimating. Like, people think rookies have just having a rookie quarterback will make the team's outlook much more variable and widespread on what could happen. I think Caleb is a very unique situation where I would not say that. I would say that the floor is actually very high with this team, and I just could not see us going worse than what we did last year. It just can't happen. Like, unless injuries or something terrible and horrible goes
Yeah.
wrong in the season, like, it's not going to happen.
Definitely.
Yeah. You need a Caleb Williams injury, basically. And
Yeah.
even then, like I don't even know. I still think they'd probably win 7 games with Bajent, but their ceiling won't be as high as Caleb takes them. If he's as good as we all think he is, then they should probably win 11 games plus. But he'll have his rookie moments, his rookie
Of course.
struggles, his really bad throws, his holding onto the ball too long, whatever, and probably cost us a game or two. But you live with that, and if they want to be really good in the future, they just have to trust him and see where he takes them.
Yeah. And CJ Stroud, like, he's kind of the template of what Caleb's expectations, or not. Well, how he performed is how we think Caleb could have his rookie season become. But CJ Stroud, if you remember, like, had a record for like most passes thrown by a rookie quarterback without an interception. So I just don't think that that's very comparable to what we're going to see with Caleb. I think there's going to be a lot of turnovers, a lot of ugly plays that we're going to have to live with that might cost us games, like you said. But yeah, I think I'm really excited for this season. And Ilan, thank you again so much for joining us. We'll definitely have you on for more episodes. Your insights are very good for this podcast.
Thank
And
you very much. Thank
yeah,
you.
Thank you, IlliniBearsTalk.